Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, go.
How's everybody doing again? Welcome back to BGN. Birdgang 31 is in the house. I brought some friends along. We got Chase Senior from Cashapp and my Niner content creator, CG Rubens. How you guys doing today?
Doing awesome, man. Ready to chop it up. Let's do it.
Doing great, man. It's an honor to be back once again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got you, Chase, because you are one of the most, content creators on fire the most right now. You got, you're doing your thing over there at Chat Sports, man, and Chat Sport Eagles. I watch you every day, and I know CG watched you over there on the Niners side. So, get straight to it, man. How do you feel about this game, man?
Look, I continue to say this, and I appreciate the compliments, man. 49ers Report Eagles now to everybody who tunes into those channels. I really do appreciate the support, and I believe there's really not many people out there more equipped to talk about this game than me. That's not being cocky. That's just because I cover both teams, and I've watched pretty much every single snap this year. And this could be, I think, one of the best NFC Championship games of all time when you think about how evenly matched these two squads are. You have Kyle Shanahan, Coach of the Year finalist, against Nick Sirianni, who got snubbed from being Coach of the Year finalist, but still had the best record in the NFL. The Philadelphia Eagles sustainably all throughout the season have been the best team all year long, whereas San Francisco has been the hottest team of late, having won 12 games in a row. And both of the strengths for both of these teams really pit up against one another in a beautiful way. If you're a football nerd, you have the Eagles offensive line going up against a great Niners defensive line. You have a really good Eagles defense going up against a potent Niners offense. This Eagles offense is top 5 in basically every major statistical category, whereas San Francisco defensively is top 5 in every major statistical category. And when you look at both of these rosters as well, we're talking about future Hall of Famers on both sidelines. We're talking about all pros and Pro Bowlers. And that's why I think that this game is going to come down to the wire. And that's why I think that this game is going to be a terrific one for the right to head to Super Bowl 57.
Yeah, I hear you say that, man. And that's one thing that I do know that, all the teams left in this playoff, they're, excellent teams, the best of, best in the game right now. But I do feel like our Eagles are, a little bit different. No disrespect to the Niners. I feel like we are the best team in football. We've been that way the whole year long, whether the media or any outside fans want to give us the credit or not. You say, they got the number 1 defense. We have the number 2 defense, but we do have the number 1 offense. I think that's going to be the key to this game that really separates the two teams. We got, Pro Bowlers and all pros on both sides of the football. But I feel like, we got 17 or 22 Pro Bowlers if we count alternates. That's a lot more. Guys that are playing at a higher level, and I think we're a little bit deeper. But how do you really see this matchup going against, our offense against that defense? It's number 1, both sides, but, our offensive line is the best in the league. We see, elite players like Parsons not even be able to get stats against, Lane Johnson. So how do you really see that matchup working out?
Yeah, and Trent Williams had a pretty clean sheet against Micah Parsons last week. When it comes to this Eagles offense against this Niners defense, Philadelphia is averaging a league high of nearly 4 touchdowns per game. They convert when they get into the red zone and converting into touchdowns about 70% of the time. They have a great third down offense and a great fourth down offense. San Francisco, on the other hand, is giving up the least amount of touchdowns per game, the least amount of points per game. They're very good against the rush. So I think that there's going to be a time where Philadelphia tries to figure out what they want to do. Are they going to try to exploit San Francisco through the air, or are they going to try to have that Giants approach from last week when they're a lot more complimentary? They run for 270 yards because the Giants up front didn't want that smoke. I will say this about this Eagles offense. I'm confident in them. They have a beautiful scheme. They do like to spread it out, and they can hit you with a bunch of different weapons, but that doesn't mean that they're a finesse offense. They're anything but, because this is the best offensive line in football. And as we saw against the Giants, they ran it, and the G-men couldn't stop it. Now, I don't think they're going to have that level of success against this Niners defense. They're better coach. They have a lot more star power on that side of the ball. I think a key element to San Francisco potentially stopping the Eagles in this game is their linebacking core on top of their front four. Everybody wants to talk about the lack of sack production for San Francisco compared to Philadelphia, but their pressure rate is elite. They hit the quarterback pretty often, and their linebackers, it's the best linebacking trio in the NFL, and they do have the speed to keep up with Philadelphia sideline to sideline and vertically as well.
CG, how you feel about it?
Well, this team is a lot different than what we had last year. It's just that offensively, ever since we acquired Christian McCaffrey, the Niners have been on a winning streak also. So it's like 12-game winning streak is not easy, and we've just been playing good football defensively. Like he just said it best, we give up the least amount of points. The way we stop the run, we try to force you to throw the ball more, if anything else. We get physical in the trenches too. I mean, the Eagles, no disrespect, I mean, you guys are really a good physical team also, so you physically match up. So I think it's going to be a physically even matchup, the way how both these teams play up. People were questioning both these teams' schedules, but we're here. This is the championship. So I think the Niners are well equipped compared to what we've seen from the Eagles too, but both teams are capable of making it to the Super Bowl, if I'm being real.
Chase, how do you feel about that coaching thing? Nick Sirianni's second year, back-to-back playoffs. You know what I'm saying? And now in the NFC Championship game, no one really knows his ceiling in terms of coaching because he's just really starting. But then you got Shanahan on the other side, who's been in the league, been a coach, great offensive mind over there, but it's fell short from Super Bowls, NFC Championship last year. You know what I'm saying? Who do you think really has the leverage or the most pressure on them? Because, Shanahan, you can be like, if you lose this game, that's three now, what I'm saying? 3 big games back-to-back you done lost. And Nick is just like, win or lose, you got your team here, your second year, you're on the road. Like, how do you see that?
Yeah, I think that the coaching matchup is pretty even with Sirianni going up against Shanahan, but also just on both sidelines. And that's also why I really like this matchup. Like, you have Jonathan Gannon, Shane Steichen, Kevin Patullo, Brian Johnson. They're all interviewing for either head coaching opportunities or coordinator jobs. Then for San Francisco, you have Kyle Shanahan, but then DeMeco Ryans is the leader in the clubhouse to potentially become the Houston Texans or Denver Broncos' next head coach. So when it comes down to Shanahan against Sirianni, I think it's very even. Yes, Shanahan has more playoff experience as compared to Sirianni, but Shanahan has also lost the big game pretty frequently, lost the 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl to the Patriots. They lost the 11-point lead in the Super Bowl to the Chiefs as a head coach. They were up by 10 going into the fourth quarter against the Rams in the NFC Championship game. He tends to be in critical moments, third downs, fourth downs, going for it on the opposition side of the field, a little bit more conservative as compared to Sirianni. And that can either win you or lose you a game. For Shanahan, he's been a little bit too conservative, and it's bit him. For Sirianni, he's a little bit aggressive. And I think that could be a deciding moment in this game where Sirianni decides to go for it on a 4th and medium from the 40-yard line as compared to the field goal, where Shanahan might punt, and it could burn one of the two coaches. So I think that's a big matchup to look out for here. But I think that both are very stellar coaches. What Sirianni's been able to do culturally has been phenomenal for this team. Yes, he has a really good roster. Nobody really expected the Eagles to go 14-3, get the number 1 seed and play this well, where they set the franchise record for wins, and they're basically unconscious offensively, defensively, playing stellar. And then for Kyle Shanahan, 12 consecutive wins with 3 different quarterbacks, Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo, as well as Brock Purdy. During this 12-game spurt, they're averaging more than 30 points per game. A lot of coaches wouldn't be able to do that with 3 QBs and change the offense or at least have different iterations of it 3 different times with those 3 guys.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. What's your biggest matchup, you think? I'm looking at, for me, it'll be Lane Johnson versus Bosa. Like I said before, like Lane's hasn't given up a sack in 2 years. Bosa has led the league in, sacks this year. It's like, who do you think gets the edge? Do you think Lane breaks that streak of no sacks?
Potentially. Look, if I have confidence in anybody to hold up against Bosa, who I think is the defensive player of the year, it's Lane Johnson. What the Niners like to do with Bosa is have him on both sides of the line of scrimmage. So if he's not getting home against Lane, watch out for him to go to the other side, the right side of the defensive line, left tackle for the offensive side against Jordan Mailata. So that's a huge matchup, obviously. I do think that the Eagles' offensive line against the Niners' defensive line is a huge matchup, because what the Niners like to do is run this kind of multiple scheme where they try to confuse the opposing offense. We saw it against Dallas, and that's why Prescott threw 2 interceptions. But they'll show blitz with 7 guys in the box, and then they'll drop back, guys into coverage as a little bit of a disguise. And I could see that confusing Jalen Hurts to a certain degree if the first and second options aren't there. San Francisco, with that defensive line, has to have pass rush lane integrity, because Jalen Hurts can really burn San Francisco if he's able to make plays out of structure and make those improvisational plays. San Francisco went 14-3 against Russell Wilson throughout his career during all those great games in the NFC West, and Jalen Hurts can do a lot of the same things out of structure that Russell Wilson can. So the Niners have historically struggled against mobile quarterbacks. So that's a matchup. I do think that the Eagles corners against, the Niners picking up yards after the catch, that's what they specialize in. Kyle Shanahan really puts together a scheme in which Brock Purdy is able to get the football out pretty quickly, but into open areas, allowing those guys to pick up yards on the catch. We know that the Eagles aren't the greatest tackling team either, and they like to play backwards, play that soft quarters, which opens up a lot of underneath space. And then it's the Niners corners against Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. Like, everywhere I look, there are great matchups on the field come Sunday.
Yeah. CJ, you got anything you want to ask him?
Yeah, like he said it best, the way we play, it's like, the Eagles we have a tough time containing mobile quarterbacks, but it's all about how we limit those quarterbacks. Like, sometimes they don't stick with going with it all the time. They may just run here and there, and that's where they might want to try to do the play action, all that stuff. So, yeah, we've struggled with guys like Russell Wilson in the past, and we struggled with mobile quarterbacks this year with Justin Fields and guys like Marcus Mariota and so on. I mean, it's tough. It's been our Achilles heels. That's not denying it, and he's right about it. Like, it's something that we have to adjust to.
And I saw the comment down there. Like, I'm not comparing Jalen Hurts and Russell Wilson. No, Jalen Hurts is not Russell Wilson. They're different quarterbacks, right, from David McNiner. What I'm saying is that Hurts can do similar things as Russell Wilson out of structure, improvisationally, to hurt San Francisco, because stylistically that's something that they struggled against in years past, but also this year. Justin Fields, Marcus Mariota, Patrick Mahomes. So that's kind of what I meant in that point.
Oh, yeah. So for this question for Birdgang, man, how do you feel about the run defense, man? I've seen some of the parts of how the Eagles have done pretty well. If they have a lead, that's where teams abandon the running game. But let's say, like, it's pretty much going to be a close game. But let's say how this goes. Are you going to be concerned how the Niners are going to stick with that formula if this game comes very close?
Oh, me? Oh, yeah, man. I'm not really worried about the running game. If you look over the last 8 games or so, I think we're 8th in the NFL right now in terms of run defense, run stop. We were pretty clamping it down once we picked up Linval Joseph and the Dominican Sue. You guys, biggest weapons to me when it comes to that run game is how you guys use all the motioning, and you have Debo in the back, you have all these different guys moving around, which I watched the game last week when you guys were at home doing. It's just, I feel like in the link, it's going to be so loud, so crazy that you're not really going to have so much of that going on against us. And I think, that's where we're going to really be able to thrive. And I don't really see the run game being a problem this week. I think if you guys win us, it's going to be having to be Purdy's going to have to do it with his arm. How do you feel about that run game defense versus them? Chase?
Yeah, so you made a good point there, Birdgang, because Kyle Shanahan is so multiple with his scheme, and they'll run a lot of this like 21 personnel. There's a lot of pre-snap motion. There's a lot of creativity, and in doing that, he does something that the Eagles like to do a lot, just get those big blockers out in space on some of those pull blocks. But unlike the Eagles, they run a lot of fullback. They'll run two back sets with Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey. And it's all really disguised in a certain way because there's a lot of window dressing there. He's had to do a lot more of that as well with Brock Purdy just to make his job and his reads easier. If Philadelphia gets a pass rush and they stop the run, they're going to win this football game. That's really what it comes down to. I just think that the Niners slightly have the tiniest talent gap and talent discrepancy, and I think that they have the slight experience level, and that's why I had liked the Niners to win by 3. I've really gone back and forth all week. I'm going to stick with the prediction.
Oh, Chase, you broke my heart there, buddy. No, Chase.
It's all about the experience.
I could see it going either way. I really could.
You're on the road shadow tonight.
It's all about the experience.
I'm from Philly, man. It's tough. But look, I'm an NFL analyst, and I've watched every snap this year, and that's just my slight lean right now. But I could totally see the Eagles winning as well. I really could.
And for me, it's like, do you guys, either one of you guys, see it being a blowout at all, ever? Like, there's no circumstance. For me, I think a lot of people see it as what we did against, the Giants, and be like, okay, that's the Giants defense, But the whole year, we've been winning games pretty easily, when teams aren't matching up exactly. Like you said, there's a lot of talent on that Niners team, but it's not as much talent as we have on our team, I feel like. Like, we can go position for position, and the number one position is going to be that quarterback. Purdy's been doing good, but Jalen Hurts is elite. He's the MVP candidate for a reason. He's put it down. You've seen with our team, the energy, the vibe, the mojo he brings our team. It's more than just on the field. It's off the field. It's in the locker rooms, at practice. I just think that would probably be the biggest edge I'd give us, that if he goes out there on fire, he does what he wants, runs and pass when he wants to, that's going to be a problem. Like we said, all the Niners losses this year came from mobile quarterbacks, and he is the best of all of them right now, so I think that could be a real key. And if it happens that way, I don't know. I think it won't be as close as everybody think it is.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really close. And let's be real. I mean, the Eagles were better than the Giants at every single position, and it really wasn't close. Whereas San Francisco and Philadelphia, I think, are very evenly matched. And let's just break it down real quick. Quarterback, Eagles. Running back, Niners. Wide receiver, slightly Eagles. Offensive line, Eagles. Tight end, slightly Niners, although Kittle and Goddard are very close. Defensive line, Philadelphia slightly. Linebackers, San Francisco. Cornerbacks, Eagles. Safety, you could go, honestly, either way. So we just broke it all down. That's about 50-50 right there, and that's why I think this game is going to be a close one.
Nice, man, nice. Well, I know you got to get out of here, Chase. I didn't want to hold you up too much, man. Get to your party thing.
Got a holiday party tonight.
Holiday party, man, and enjoy it, man. But thanks for stopping by, talking some football with us, man. We definitely get some more going on down the road.
Of course. Birdgang, always good to link up with you. CG, finally good to link up with you as well. Let's have a day on Sunday, fellas. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.
All right, peace.
Peace. Yeah. He's right on money. Like, for someone that covers both teams, you can tell he does. He was down the road with what he said there. There's some things I didn't like. I didn't like to hear the 3-point loss, at all. But, other than that, like, he was being pretty legit on there.
Yeah. When you talk about how the Eagles can beat us if they can try to pass the ball, but this is the type of pass defense that's bend, don't break type of pass defense. Like, you may get some of your big plays, but if you test us, we get interceptions out of it. Like, you might want to try to pick on Lenoir because Lenoir made the opposing quarterbacks the last 2 playoff games pay, so he got like 2 interceptions out of those games. So this is one of the guys that has a lot to prove. Travarius Ward, he can have his moments too, but as far as talent-wise, yeah, I agree with him about the Eagles' corners. They're very talented.
Yeah, and look at this, CJ. Did this bother you at all? Did this worry you at all? Throws 25-plus yards down the field. Niners 29th, 30th, and Niners defense 29th, 30th, and 29th. The Eagles offense number 1 in all the categories. To me, that shows that you guys really haven't been tested like this team is about to test you guys going down the field. When you got A.J. Brown, who broke our record for most receiving yards ever by Eagle, and we had some great Eagles out there. You got Smitty out there who broke the receiving record for most receptions in the year. You know what I'm saying? Which, like I said, we had a lot of great ones out there. Like, how do you feel? And do you really think these guys are going to be able to keep up? Because I think the biggest thing is Bosa getting that quarterback. But like I said, you guys can say we never played a defense like you all year, but we can also say you guys never played an offense like us all year long. To have 5 Pro Bowl, linemen on that offensive line, protecting for Jalen Hurts, and plus his mobility. Do you think they're going to be able to hold up on the outside with these receivers?
I mean, as far as concerned, I see you guys always go for those big plays, and we've been accustomed to that, so it's nothing new to us. I mean, yeah, like it can be like a big play here and there, but we've shut down those number 2 receivers. So a number 1 receiver may have a field day, but if you look at the way we match up lately against the other receivers, Tyler Lockett, 4 catches, 16 yards, and an interception from Lenore. Michael Gallup, 0 catches, interception from Lenore. So it's like, at first I was questioning Lenore as the weakest link, but he's kind of stepped up to the challenge. Travarius Ward lately has kind of been a little bit off a little bit for whatever reason.
Yeah, who's going to cover Goddard then if that's the case with those 2 corners?
I've heard maybe Fred Warner can match up well with the tight end, or you can even put in Jimmy Ward in between sometimes. It's one or the other,
Yeah. Mufanga doesn't cover, right? He's not. That's probably his weakness. I remember him in the U.S.C. He's really good, though. He's a beast out there.
Yeah.
But so what other matchups you looking to see this Sunday?
The matchup I'm more intrigued by is I'm wondering how you guys will match up on the trenches, man. Because I think when it comes down to the way we scheme, like what Shanahan do, he knows how to open up the running game pretty well. So it doesn't matter what kind of ranked run defense you guys had. We make any other run defense look average. Look at before that, Tampa Bay had a pretty solid run defense, and we were able to expose it before. But I think the Eagles, they give us a lot of different challenges. You guys have a lot of guys that are double-digit sack guys. You got 4 guys out there, and you guys got really outstanding rotation. But it doesn't compare to the way we do all the pressures, dude. Yeah, our sack stats doesn't duplicate what you guys have, but we create enough pressure and we get enough turnovers. Like, interceptions are increased because we pressure a lot more than other teams.
Like, I heard you guys say, like, this week, not you specifically, but like, Purdy and them was like, we got some good practice to go against a team with a defense like the Eagles by playing Dallas last week. You see, if Dak doesn't throw those 2 interceptions, you guys might not be sitting in this game right now. You know what I'm saying? Dak turnover really helped you guys get over the hump. In terms of the defense, they were playing you guys pretty good. They were holding your rush game down too as well. But like going back to the talent, like I really feel like, if you guys think that that's going to help you for a defense like us, like, that defense is good, but like they don't have the monsters up front like we do. Like our biggest thing is like we play big man football over here in Philly. Our offensive line is the best because not only are they the best skill wise, but they have some of the biggest offensive linemen that play in the game. You know what I'm saying on there. Our defensive line is the same way. And you can go with those top 4. The guys with double-digit sacks, but then you got to still add in guys like Fletcher Cox, who could have got 10 sacks this year. Jordan Davis, a rookie. You got Milton Williams, a second-year player that has 6.5 sacks himself. You also got to go with, Linval Joseph and Dominican Sue, who that's the only reason why they came to this team was to win a Super Bowl. They knew that the roster was stacked enough that if they come in here, they don't have to play full-time. They can give you like a good 10, 15 plays a game at a high level and make an impact in the football game. So I don't know, man. I think that will be like I said earlier, like I really feel like the only way you guys beat us is if Purdy has like one of them, like when you watch that OU game, he's out there slinging that rock and he's breaking records, in a football game, Ayuk and Debo and Kittle are just torching our secondary somehow, which might also have Avonte Maddox. And when Avonte Maddox played, like people don't realize when Avonte Maddox was healthy and CJG was healthy, our defense was elite, like unstoppable. We were 3-and-outs. That was earlier in the season when we were on that streak of undefeated streak. When we had all of them healthy, then one got hurt, and then the other one came back, the other one got hurt. And since then, it hasn't been the exact same. We've done a good job, but to have both of them back there in that secondary, that's a problem, and that's a problem for any offense.
Yeah, especially what you guys have, like the way how you guys are shutting down. I mean, I'm not denying it. It's like at least number one against the pass. So it's like you look at how you guys fare in previous matchup, like having Maddox and then having Gardner go switch back to his natural position the way you guys had it. Like he's been playing outstanding. Like I think getting him in the offseason was crazy that you guys even made that move. And then for Maddox, I guess he's a very solid slot corner. So I guess he's kind of done his part, you know. But when you look at the matchups between the Niners and the way they've kind of played in the secondary, Jimmy Ward doesn't get enough recognition as much as I don't like the player, but he makes these tip passes. So for whatever reason, if Jalen Hurts were to throw a pass and somehow Jimmy Ward just tips it, you can't just blame it on Jalen Hurts if it were an interception, you know, because that's where Jimmy Ward can capitalize. Give it to one of his teammates or he either takes it. But, yeah, you know, I think it's evenly fair between both teams. Like, you guys have shut down opposing teams, but I haven't seen you – I mean, I've seen some of your ball hawkers. I mean, you got Slay, Bradbury, a lot of guys. You know, it should be one of the best secondaries in football the way you guys have been playing consistently. But it doesn't compare to our guys, you know. We come to play and we come to capitalize.
They're saying you guys just come with a lot more fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really consider your team, like an honest opinion, is better than the Eagles. Is that what you're saying?
As a team collectively, I mean, I think talent-wise, it doesn't compare to what you guys got.
As a team collectively. Okay. I like it. Give me some hot takes. You know, what is going to take the Niners win this game if these three things happen?
So if these three things happen, so it would have to be on my hot takes. All right, so I think it's going to come down to what happens with Jalen Hurts on these situations. Like if he throws the ball, I expect at least one of our secondaries to capitalize something, you know, get a turnover here and there. But I expect the Niners to find a way to run the ball late in the fourth quarter. I think that's what's going to happen is we're going to find a way to run the ball and keep this game closer. So that's a second take. I think what comes down to it is I think it comes down to who doesn't make the most mistakes out of these games. You know, it's going to be very close, but it wouldn't surprise me if it doesn't go as close as everybody says. You know, it's one or the other. It can be close or the other side. It wouldn't surprise me because I think one of those teams are meant to break. It's just what team is it going to be?
You watched Purdy play, and I know the playoffs have been all home games, right? But during the season when he was playing away, how did you see him playing away as opposed to home? Do you see him playing a little bit better at home than away? And what kind of impact do you think it's going to be? Because, like, you know, it's easy when you're playing at home your first two games in the playoffs. You know, this guy's a rookie. You know what I'm saying? He ain't even been in the big lights before. You know, it's easy to play at home, you know, with the crowd support and all that stuff, you know, going into the playoffs than it is on the away. But now you're about to come into the league, which in the playoffs is arguably the most loudest stadium in the league. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes to playoff time, do you think this guy's got that kind of composure where he's going to be able to stay in there and still be able to understand and, you know, not let it get too big?
I've seen what I've seen with him against Seattle, which is a pretty crowd noise too, and they're a very hostile environment. That was my question mark. Can he handle something on the road? And I've seen enough from that Seattle game when he played Seattle at that stadium. The question was how was he going to handle that pressure, and he handled it with flying colors. And I've seen him played in some environments like this. I mean, in college football, I wasn't fully familiar with him until I started watching Oklahoma football. You know, I didn't because they usually play Iowa State every year, and this kid caught my attention. And I don't think the game gets too big for him. I think he plays like it's nothing. Like he plays like he's been there and done it. I mean, Philadelphia, like you said, it's a different environment. You're going up to the East Coast. This is a far different home field advantage. You know, this is a different environment compared to going to Seattle, but the crowd, the way it's played for, this is for all the marbles, dude. So this is where Brock Purdy can deliver, or it can be the other way around. So, you know, I think he's very capable of stepping in this environment. I've seen enough from that Seattle game to convince me a little bit, you know?
Okay. And moving forward, what do you think is the best thing for the Niners? Win or lose this game? You know, Purdy, in terms of being you guys' future quarterback, you know, because he's doing this his rookie year, you know, didn't even get first team reps, you know, all season, you know what I'm saying, to the end, till it's his time to go. Like, do you think that he can be the Niners' future, or is you still in the Lance train?
I think he's proven enough that he can be the guy. I mean, I just don't want to think of the other way around. If he wins the damn thing, which I think that would be a strong case for him, but I don't take that third or second place mentality, bro. You're gonna have to compete for that shit. Nah, win the Super Bowl, your job's yours. That's the way I come from. You had to earn it.
And win the Super Bowl.
What?
I said you got to win the Super Bowl, and then it's his.
That's the mindset I come from, dude. I don't come from like, okay, you did enough. No. I want to see him compete with Trey Lance. I don't think Trey had a fair chance with the injuries, if I'm being real. Like, he was hurt. We didn't even see what he could be, but we like what Purdy did. Purdy did enough. But if you don't win the Super Bowl, kid, I might as well let it be an open competition.
Okay. Who will be a player on your team? Give me one guy on the offense, one guy on the defense that maybe Eagles fans are probably sleeping on, because you know the star names, you know the Debos, the Kittles, the Ayuks, you know Purdy, and then on the defense side, Warner, Bosa, Greenlaw, Mufunga. Like, well, give me two other players that maybe that we're sleeping on that could actually impact this football game.
Yeah, most players that nobody talks about on our offense, man. Like, he doesn't get enough recognition, but when he does the dirty work, he's a good blocker. I mean, he's a very great blocker, but he can catch the ball on third down conversions and make key catches. That is Juwan Jennings. That's a sleeper. Like, he's our number 3 receiver. So he's a big body receiver. He's physical after the catch too. May not be as quick as those other receivers that we have on our roster, but he does the job. So that's the guy you got to watch out for. Number 15 would be the guy you need to watch out for.
Okay.
So on defense, there's a guy on our defense that doesn't get enough talk, and I'm not quite a big fan of his. I'm just not. I just think he was just an overrated reach at the time. But Jimmy Ward, I have to give him his flowers and give him his due. Jimmy Ward is that one guy you have to watch out for, man. He can be sneaky, and he's very smart with the mindset. Like, when he can even tip the ball and give it to the other teammate to get the interception, he can make some ridiculous plays. So I have to give him his credit. So Jimmy Ward is that one player you have to watch out for.
Okay. And then give me one on offensive defense the most, that worries you the most, on the Eagles.
What worries me more on the Eagles? So can it be like any other player under the radar, or is it?
Just give me your 2 players most worried about having big games against you, one on offense, one on defense. And I guess you don't. If you know one that that maybe we won't be thinking, like Jalen Hurts or AJ Brown, you can say that, or if it's one of them, tell me why.
Dude. Last year when we played you guys, I'm concerned about how Quez Watkins is going to be the factor. I think that's the one guy we might sleep on. Like, that might be the one guy that we don't even pay attention, and he can have a big game like he did before. So
I like that.
I think he would be the one sleeper concern for me. If we can shut down your number 2 and keep AJ in the limited plays right there, but I would think Quez Watkins, he might be your X factor. I think he might be the one guy we don't even pay attention and nobody notices. Like, he did play a pretty good game against us, and I think he might even repeat again. I don't know. That would be concerning for me. I think if we don't pay attention to Quez Watkins,
he had that long bomb against you guys, huh? That was a 90-yard pass. Let's get the Niners last year. Yeah, man.
And the crazy part was you guys didn't even get the touchdown out of that play.
Yeah, that was messed up. I was mad about that one.
But I do think he would be the one X factor that would concern me a little bit. And then on your defense, I don't like your defense. I would say Josh Sweat. I think he's kind of underrated for you guys. Like, he's kind of making some key plays. Like, what is he, number 94, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's a beast, bro. Like, I think even when you have him on your rotation or whatever you guys have him at, or your starter, he does a pretty good job against the run, and he's kind of been improving better as a pass rusher. So that would be the one guy under the radar that I might be concerned about too. Mm-hmm. That would be the one guy there.
What's one thing you think from last year's win against us you guys can bring into this game, or do you think the teams are just so different that you can't really compare any of that stuff from last year?
We can't compare what happened last year, but maybe the only thing that still remains the same from last year is the way you guys have left some openings in the middle. I think we can still use Kittle in the passing game and still figure out ways to use Debo like we did before. I think the only difference is we're all with different talents. We didn't have Christian McCaffrey at like last year. We didn't have him. You guys didn't have AJ Brown. You guys didn't have Chauncey Gardner Johnson. You didn't have other guys. We didn't have other guys. Yeah. Yeah, it's different. So it's a different type of situation. And your depth is pretty deeper than last year. So it's hard to even make a comparison of last year because I think both teams are different now.
How about this question? How big of an impact has CMC been for you guys? Do you feel like if you guys never picked him up in the middle of the season, that you guys would be in a position right now?
I think if we would have never got him, dude, I don't know how much of an impact it would have been. But, dude, with him on our team, we've been on a winning streak. This offense has been averaging over 30 points a game. So it's like let's say the football gods blessed us with Jimmy Garoppolo out of the game. And I don't even dislike Jimmy, but I think maybe the football gods gave us something out of Brock Purdy. And I think Brock Purdy just gives us 10 more points better than what Jimmy gave us. So I think that's what kind of comes down to. If it wasn't for Jimmy being hurt, I don't know if we would go further.
No. I like it. And what other pieces do you think the Niners have, that will really make them, bona fide, Super Bowl contenders every single year? Do you see any holes in that team that you'd like to get patched up?
I would think if we can get a better center and a better tackle. Like, okay, the center is the weakest link for sure. And the Mike McGlinchey, I don't know, he's just really bad. Like, I think we can do better at that spot. Secondary, we just need some better depth pieces at that spot, like cornerback-wise, because when we lost Mosley for the season, he was one of our up-and-coming shutdown corners, and then he tore his ACL, against the Panthers, which was crazy. Like, I mean, it's just how – it's like he was playing at a high level for us, and then on to our backup cornerback. It was going to come down to Jason Verrett, but he couldn't stay healthy either, so – it came down to Diamond Lenoir. And I'll give Lenoir his credit. He's actually kind of stepping up to the plate. Like the last 2 games in the playoffs, he's kind of played like at a pretty good level.
Nice, yeah. Lenoir, you said his name was right.
Yeah.
How good how much I remember the draft, right? When I was saying I wanted to get Mufunga, you guys ended up getting up. We talked about that. I told you he's going to be a beast. How impressed are you by Mufunga back there at that safety spot?
Oh, dude, he's outstanding. Like he does. He's a very smart player. Dude, alternate does not mean nothing, and plus he gets beat, bro. And then he blocked me on Twitter, so I don't like him. Like that fool.
Personal attacks.
Nothing mutual, no feelings mutual, but he took my criticism the wrong way. But maybe I did motivate him, but I still think he is the weakest link, no matter how people look at it. I watch film. I'm an offensive line guru also, so I know who plays good. McGlinchey's weak too, and Brendo. So I got to say it's the 2 of the offensive linemen that are weak. I would say he's actually a little better than McGlinchey as far as like the way he blocks. McGlinchey gets beat, but McGlinchey's been playing good football too. So, but I'm just saying, I'm not giving no flowers to Brendo. He's the weakest link also. So what were we saying again?
We're talking about Mufunga and his impact on the team.
Oh, okay. So Mufunga, bro. He plays like a smart, savvy veteran out there. Like he's in his second year, and he's already at a Pro Bowl level this year. And the way he plays, bro, he plays like he's been around the league for 7 years, and he's kind of has that mentality. He may not be the fastest player on the field, but when he uses his mindset, he reads coverages at times, and sometimes he can be out of position, or sometimes he can be in the good position to make the tackles or disrupt. Like one thing that can concern you guys is if we can blitz with him, like how Palomalu does it, that can disrupt a little bit on Jalen Hurts a little bit at times if we were to do that.
Speaking of that Jalen Hurts thing, Jalen Hurts, like I told Chase earlier, I believe he's the most, athletic, mobile quarterback you guys faced all year, and that is your Achilles heel. Like how big of a concern or how much confidence do you have in your guys to actually stop him this week? That's hard because not only are you going against the most athletic, none of those other athletic quarterbacks had the offensive line that we have to help protect this guy. You know what I'm saying? And he is the most dangerous with the football in his hand. So
I think that's what makes him so scary is he's a good runner too, so he can definitely extend plays. And I've seen what's different about last year. Last year he was just getting started with the experience, Now he's kind of like he's elevated a little bit more on this Eagles team. So, and he was in the MVP discussion before the injury. So let's not deny the fact that this guy could have easily been an MVP candidate easily, bro. But it's just the 2 games he missed. That's what really hurt his chance. But as far as like a football being realistic, I think Jalen Hurts has made the most improvement out of anybody in the NFL. Like, I think he's taken this team to better heights that it's never been for quite a while. But I think last year was just a build of experience. This kid's only going to get better.
Yeah, facts. It was like his warm up season. Even that season, like I said, he was a Pro Bowl alternate. He had some nice numbers. He had 700 yards rushing. I think he was like 16 touchdowns or something like that. It showed the growth, and without a quarterback going out and putting in the work like Jalen Hurts did, he would never be here right now if he wasn't that, mentally strong, leader that we have on this team. You know what I'm saying? We watched him all off season. He went to all the best, from Peyton Manning to Tom Brady's coaches. He went everywhere seeking knowledge, man, seeking tips, to get better and become a better football player this year. And obviously you've seen it showed. All that stuff worked out. And yeah, man, like I said, I just feel like this is his season, to shut all the haters up. They still hate on his arm, which I don't know how, when he had 101 quarterback rating for the season. And what he had 26 touchdowns. Like, how do you hate on that? He don't have to throw the ball, like you said. Like, those 2 games probably cost him because of stats or whatnot. But everybody wants to give it to Mahomes because Mahomes has 5,000 yards passing. Oh, unbelievable. You know what I'm saying? Which is cool. But most valuable players, not the person that has the most yards. And that being said, like, Jalen Hurts doesn't need to throw it 40 times to be successful in a football game, to get 3 and 4 touchdowns in a football game. Jalen Hurts has less turnovers than Patty Mahomes. His team had the same record, and he's like one of the best running backs in the game too, as well. So overall playmakers, I'll take Jalen over Patty any day. Like, who got the best arm, quarterback, backyard stuff. Yeah, you might give that to Patty Mahomes because he does some ridiculous passes out there, things that you only see him do in the league. So, but he is great. But I just love what Jalen Hurts is doing. I just think no one wants to give him the respect that he deserves for being that, dual threat quarterback, like complete dual threat quarterback, as opposed to, they always just want to take a look at that arm and be like, oh, well, he didn't throw for 4,000 yards. He's getting better. It's like, come on, turnovers mean a lot in this league. You're not making very many of them. I think he had 6 interceptions this year. That's pretty good. I think Patty had like 12, 13, something like that. Like, to me, those kind of stats really matter. And if you look at the stats in terms of wins, like Jalen Hurts 15-1 this year. I mean, he's only lost 1 football game, him starting this whole entire season. So for me, that to me should be like some things to even look at when we didn't have him in the game. Our team didn't look the same. That shows me a most valuable player, not for the Eagles and for any team, what I'm saying, if you're that guy.
Yeah, like you said it best. Okay, like, people were thinking that it was the system in the get-go, when they were talking about, well, Jalen Hurts is just excelling with the system with Sirianni. But when we saw him out of the game, Gardner Minshew didn't deliver as good as Jalen Hurts did. So I don't think it's the system like everybody was saying. I think Jalen Hurts he has that special skill set that kind of makes the Eagles a lot better. It's like, I'm giving him his credit. I've been saying that this could be the most underrated player that nobody even talks about. Like, I know it sounds like I'm an OU bias. I like Jalen Hurts. I think what makes him so good about this team in general is he doesn't need to be a Patrick Mahomes and carry this team. He does enough to win games. Like you said, less mistakes. He's getting better with his decision-making, which is a plus. You look at the talent. Okay, you got A.J. Brown, one of the best receivers out there in the league. You give him some weapons to elevate this team. You drafted Devontae Smith 2 seasons ago. That makes him even better with a guy that he's like familiar with in college. You get a guy like a tight end. That's a quarterback's best friend there. You get a pretty good, solid running game. You get a outstanding offensive lineman. That should be a recipe for success. He shouldn't fail in this situation.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the other game that's going on, just in case either one of our teams play who would you want to play? Who would you want the Niners to play in a Super Bowl out of the Chiefs and the Bengals?
That's a tough one, man. If I'm being real, it doesn't matter to me whoever one I want, but I would love another shot at Kansas City. Just for that painful loss from Super Bowl 54. I would love more than just a payback from them, but it wouldn't hurt us to go with the Bengals for a third time in the entire career. You know, we played them in the past, but it would just be kind of crazy to play them a third time. I mean, I would prefer just going against a team that beat us before, just to get a revenge. I like revenge.
Who would you think you have a better shot against talent-wise?
Talent-wise, Bengals are outstanding offense, but their offensive line is a big concern. I think we favor more against the Bengals more, if I'm being honest. Like Joe Burrow, don't get me wrong, he's a great quarterback, but I've seen the flaws when it comes to that Super Bowl. How do you blow a lead in the fourth quarter? This is a Bengals tradition. This is where Bengals choke. So I'm going to say Cincinnati's pretty much a winnable for us.
I like it. I like it.
We played them before. We shut them down. Their offense, we played against Joe Burrow before. Like
which one? This year or last year?
Last year, we played them in Cincinnati. We won with in overtime with 3 points.
Nice.
And that was with our other secondary. We got far better secondary this time around.
And I'm with you on that one. You know, I feel like, bring on either one of them. You know, I really feel like, it's a good opportunity that the NFC is probably going to win the Super Bowl this year anyway. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of whoever wins this game, if you guys can pull it, muster together, and beat us this week, us being the number one team in the league, you can beat us, and you can beat anybody. And, I feel like, anybody, the winner of this football game for sure is going to win that Super Bowl, in 3 weeks from now. So I would rather play, personally, I'd rather play the Kansas City. It sucks that Patty Mahomes hurt, so it wouldn't be a full strength Kansas City, but I wouldn't take that. If we win, we win. But that Kansas City, just because Big Red, Big Red was our coach for all them years. We won a lot of football games with Big Red, and ever since he left the Eagles, man, we have not beat him. We haven't beat him one time. People whooping our ass every single time he comes around. And it's just like that would just be a big. We grown now, Big Red. Not only did we win one Super Bowl, but we won two, and one was on you, Big Red. So it would be like a little kid in your face. Because I still got love for him alone. He's not playing the Eagles, but it'd be awesome to play Big Red and go ahead and beat him. And like you said, if you want to shoot out that game, that Kansas City game, the Bengals game would be a good game too with those three receivers over there. Jamar Chase is outstanding. Burrows does got a cannon, but like I said, I think we beat both of them if either one of them wins the game. Who do you think is going to win the game though? Because Burrows is. Kansas City is 0-3 versus Burrows right now. They have never beat them. And, with the high ankle sprain for Mahomes, that's going to limit him a little bit because everybody's like he's going to play. And most times it takes 3 weeks to get that fixed. And he's playing 5 days later, 6 days later. He's going to go out there and play again. So either he's going to be drugged up, taking those shots. But even then, man, you know what I'm saying? If you had a high ankle sprain, every day it gets worse for the first couple of days. And then it starts getting better. And it's like, if you take away 3 days from after that game, man, you're looking at like a game or a day or two of healing. And I don't really think that's going to be enough for him to be doing good stuff. They say they've seen him jogging around practice without that much of a limp, but it's going to be hurting.
I think this is what makes it so interesting is they're writing him off because of the injury. And I think the fact that he hasn't beat the Bengals, that's motivation. I mean, Bengals, don't get me wrong. They came back from a Super Bowl and they definitely want to get another shot at it. And they're hungry. They're on a winning streak. But I feel like this is the game for Patrick Mahomes to bounce back from losing to the Bengals. I think it's going to be a very close game. It's going to come down to, I think Mahomes is going to have to sign some dollars. Maybe he'll be able to move a little here and there. And I feel like you can never rule out Patrick Mahomes on this game. So I don't care if Patrick Mahomes has one freaking leg. I still think he's going to win the game no matter how people look at it. I'm just saying hypothetically, It's hard to rule him out.
Dang. So you think they can win it? What will be a score prediction?
Score prediction, I think it's going to come down to the wire. I think this is going to be another classic where you see these two teams kick a game-winning field goal. I think it's going to come down to it. I think Kansas City's going to win 31-28, man. I don't know. It's just my gut feeling just tells me that they're going to win.
Now, if I had to do that score position for this game, I'm gonna say, I don't see it. I don't see Patty Mahomes playing that great. You know what I'm saying? When Patty's not 100, you know what I'm saying? I understand he got talent, but like, the Bengals got some players on defense too that can get out their quarterback. And they've been playing some great football too. They're on fire too, just like you guys, coming into this season. So I don't know. I don't see it. I think that injury's gonna be the thing because since he's never beat him, you know what I'm saying? He's never beat him. He has never beat Joe Burrow, so I would think he would have to be at full strength to do it. And not being at full strength is going to hinder him from doing it. I got the Bengals winning 31-21.
Ooh, interesting. It's just I just never want to rule out Patrick Mahomes, man. It's just it tells me don't ever sleep on this guy. And I've always had to say, man, if he's on the field, Chiefs have a chance. And that's why I said this game's going to be a lot closer. It's not going to be like how you said a 10-point win for the Bengals. I think this is what really frustrates Mahomes. He hasn't beat the Bengals, and I think this is a feel of motivation.
But it could be also the reverse of that, where it's like you got you get so hyped of having to do it that you choke again. You know what I'm saying? Like it's happened a lot where you have to do it. This is not the first time a team that beat someone over and over. Think of the you guys this year, Seattle. You guys beat them twice in the regular season. You know what I'm saying?
And third time in the playoffs.
Third time you guys beat them again, and I bet you they were like, "Hey, we can't lose the Niners again." You know what I'm saying? Like you guys had some good games too. With the Giants with us this year, we beat them 3 times this year. You know what I'm saying? That's hard to do for anybody. So I don't know. Sometimes it is a mental thing. I think you gotta really get over the hump where you're not trying to do extra to win the football game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You go out there and play smart and just play your butts off and hope the best. But when you start getting beat by the same team over and over again, kind of like, can we beat these guys? Like, do they got our number? Like, what do we got to do, God? I want to beat them so bad. And that's when mistakes happen. When you get all wound up, and anything can happen. But we don't see it's gonna be definitely a good game.
Yeah, I think either way, both our teams have a chance to beat these AFC teams. I think there's nothing convincing with the AFC. Like, okay, they got a good offense. Their defense is not that great.
Yeah, either one of them. I think either one of them defenses are going to be able to hold up against either one of our offenses. Yeah, that's for sure. Well, this one, give me your score prediction for this Eagles game. I know you said you win by 3, but what will be the actual score of that game?
Oh man, it's not going to be a high scoring game like you would expect. It's going to be a very close score, low score. I'm saying between the 20s between both teams. So I'm going to say Niners 24 and Eagles 20. It's just the last second play. I think everybody's expecting Brock Purdy to make the play. I don't even think he needs to make the key pass. I think it's going to come down to a run play by Elijah Mitchell running for that big play. I think it's going to be that big play where Mitchell just runs it in for a touchdown. I don't know. It's just something that tells me, but hypothetically, we can all dream about it. But I think we have a chance against you guys. I mean, being underdogs is a good thing. No pressure.
Yeah. Well, I don't want you guys, Niner fans, I see you guys in the chat. Don't take me personal on this one, but I really feel like the Eagles team you seen last week was the Eagles team you've seen for the first, 10 or 13 weeks of the season. They are that much more dominating than the rest of the teams in this league. And it's no disrespect to you guys. You guys are one of the best teams in the NFL. But I just feel like we're playing at a different level. We got a lot of hungry guys that want it. I'm saying some of the guys want it again because they recently felt it and they smelt it and they want it. So they're helping the people that haven't won it win it. We got a lot of players like Lamar Joseph, Sue, even a Darius Slay got his first playoff win ever. These guys are going to play at an extremely high level to make sure the job gets done. Like Jalen Hurts said, the rent is due from last year's Super Bowl, run when we went to the playoffs. And I think that these guys are really going to deliver on that. They went out there and got the pieces they need to go do it. And I think this is going to be another game where, kind of like the Cooper Rush earlier in the season when he was with Dallas, they weren't giving up 17 points a game. He was not turning over the ball. He was looking good, doing his job. The playmakers were doing their job, but we went into Dallas and we destroyed those guys. And I think that's what's going to happen this game too. I can't go off of what I said. I've been saying all weekend. I think it's going to be one of the shockers where Eagles just like really light them up, and it's like a 42-17 game, like for real life. I just think that the talent level on both sides, like, yeah, you guys got a lot of good like individual players, but as a whole, like you need superstars when it comes to winning Super Bowls, and we got the depth, in that area. We got the advantage in that area.
I mean, dude, I get that having superstars is all great, but you win Super Bowls with teams collectively, dude. And you just said 42, bro. We have not given up 42 points since the Chiefs game, and that was based by our injuries on our defense, dude. So I don't want to sound like a spoiler, bro, but a lot of you guys are overlooking us, bro. I'm just saying, you guys are.
I'm not overlooking you. Like I said, it's no disrespect to your team at all. Like I think the Niners are a great football team. I just think our team is that much more better. Like I said, like I've been telling people on my channel, you look at what Tampa Bay did 2 years ago. They had the talent. When they got to playoff time, that talent rose and they just started destroying teams. You look at the Rams last year. What they do? They went out and added all that talent. They came back, and in the playoffs, you seen them do their thing, and they won the Super Bowl. And it's the same with the Eagles. We went out there and got that talent. It's like I think we're number one defense, but obviously 15 yards make you guys number one defense, but we're still number two defense. Like, you know what I'm saying? But we are the number one offense. Like, it's a bunch of talented players that actually played well together. You know what I'm saying? That broken a lot of records this year together. So they are a team, you know what I'm saying? They're getting coached well. Our defense is kind of like a bend but don't break defense too, but we don't give up, big plays on us. You know what I'm saying? Like, that just don't happen. We don't give up that big play. And I think the whole year you watched us take out superstar after superstar after superstar. Justin Jefferson did nothing against us. Derrick Henry did nothing against us. Saquon 3 times. Like, whenever you got teams with stars, the stars don't do nothing. It's always the nobodies that does stuff to us. And so it's like, I don't really think that that's going to be a problem. And like I said, I think Brock Purdy gets rattled when he sees this many Eagles coming after his head every single day out.
I mean, dude, we didn't get Christian McCaffrey for nothing, bro. We got this guy for the chance for the Super Bowl, bro. And you just said a lot of these nobodies. Niners are built off rosters from nobodies. We build off the trenches. We build off this defense. We build off, like, guys that you never heard of. Drake Greenlaw, up-and-coming linebacker, making a name for himself. I mean, you're getting guys, like, who are good run stoppers. We get – Kinlaw may not be as great as he is, but he does enough. Eric Armstead, not a big name either, but he does well on taking double blocks. The
guys that win games for you is the Debos, the CMCs,
exactly,
the Ayuks, the Bosas, the Warners, and those guys. I'm saying on both sides, they've been non-factors. Like, superstars at their level has been non-factors playing the Eagles this year, and I think we're undefeated against teams like that. So it's like, that's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. Like, just watching the Eagles and the way we play, we understand how to stop the key players from doing big. Like, you got to be a backup, and that's why I gave you guys 17 points. Like, you guys are gonna score some touchdowns. You're gonna do some things, but at the end of the day, I just think it's the firepower on offense is gonna be too much for you guys, and we're just. I really don't see it. Like, as much love as you want to give your cornerbacks, I don't think they can stop the two of the best receivers in the NFL right now, and Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. Like you said, one of them might go off, but you don't want either one of them going off. There's games where one of them go off, the other one automatically goes off because you end up rolling protection his way while he's still on fire, and the other one just lights you up. There's been plenty of games this year where, one of them went for like 150, and the other one still broke 100, you know what I'm saying, where they're both like making impacts in a football game. So.
I mean, but you notice that the other second receiver didn't do nothing. So, I mean, I respectfully understand, and I respectfully disagree, but hey, I think you're very confident about it. I feel like okay, you haven't played us, we haven't played you, so it's one or the other. It can be the other way around. So I respectfully understand, bro. And
you have to support you. That's what we do. We're here to give our fans hope.
Exactly.
We're here to give our teams, the momentum they need from the fans. We get these guys pumped up about our teams, and we both got two really good teams, so I can see why you're confident about your team, and I'm very confident about my team. And with that only thing we're going to do is watch it. We're going to watch the game and see how it unfolds. It can unfold your way. It can unfold my way. It can unfold
absolutely.
Neither one of us even thought. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could be something totally like, whoa, we didn't expect that to happen, but it happened. So.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like you said, dude, I mean, it's okay to have different perspective, and you guys – are the top seed for a reason. So, it's all love at this point, man. So I liked it, man. It's cool. Hey. Like, after the game, we can all have a beer and chill and just enjoy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And we definitely could do a post-game show and talk about it. Well, man, CG, man, I know we are on both channels right now. We're on CG Ruthless channel We're on Birdgang 31 channel, so whichever channel you're on, make sure you go hit the other one. All links are inside the chat. One more shout out for Chase Senior, Eagles Now reporter and 49er Report reporter, Chase Senior. He's over there with Chat Sports. His link is also inside of the chat. And if you came in late and you didn't hear anything that he had to say because he had to go a little soon, make sure you watch the replay on either channel and find out what Chase did. He brought us a lot of good insight, coming from both teams. So any final words for you, CG?
Nah, it's been an honor just to be on your show, man. It's like we've been working with this group together, and I'm just glad to be part of your foundation.
Hell yeah, and we're glad to have you, man. You're the one of the hardest worker on this network. You be pumping it out more than me, man. I'm like, man, I be working a lot, so I don't even get to get as much content, but I love the fact that, it's helping us grow, man. We're getting bigger. We got a lot of big things coming for this year, and the sky's the limit for us. We definitely gonna keep cranking out that good content. So, hey, at the end of the day, I'll always say, fly, Eagles, fly. It's going to be a great
Bang, bang, Niner gang.
Bang, bang, Niners game. He said, no, it's fly, Eagles, fly. And we out.
All right, peace.
Peace.